You are Locked On Utah Hockey Club, your daily podcast on the Utah Hockey Club, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up? Welcome to the Locked On Anaheim Ducks, Locked On Utah HC podcast crossover. I'm Jason Hernandez. I've been covering hockey for over a decade. And to camera right, which is right that way, is Robyn Leano from Locked On Utah Hockey Club. I got the full name in. There we go. How's it going,
there
Robyn?
We go. Oh, not too bad. You know, getting in a little monsoon action here in the Southwest, which I'm enjoying.
I didn't get the monsoon. We just got the humidity, so it is hot and humid. So what is new in your world right now? You got season starting in a couple of months. Or has it? Yeah, a couple months. Preseason begins.
Yeah, we're less than 100 days away from the opening day. Really, we're actually less than 90 days, I think, from opening day. Even it seems like it's coming just so quickly, Jason. I'm like,
it really is.
And you know, we're like, I'm getting super excited for these Utah Hockey Club fans. Right, they're getting in for a completely new treat, getting to watch this team that I've been a chance to cover for so many years of what was formerly known as the Arizona Coyotes, and we're just like, I'm taking them in for the ride, and everyone's enjoying it.
So I don't know if you're aware, but the Ducks home opener is against the Utah Hockey Club, by the way. That's October 16th. You bet your you-know-what that I'm going to try to be there for that one, because that's going to be fun to watch. Robyn, I don't know if you watch all of my episodes of Locked On Anaheim Ducks, but the Ducks did not put out a schedule video this year, and I kind of took it upon myself and said, what would happen? So did I make fun of the team? Yeah, a little bit. So for the final time, they are not the Phoenix Coyotes.
No, they are not.
So
we'll see what the official name ends up being, though, sometime down the road.
I made fun of that too.
Oh yeah.
Look, I'm equal opportunity. I will not just make fun of one team. I will have something to say about all. Okay. So October 16th. So that is less than 90 days away, less than 3 months away from the unveiling of Utah on the road. That's going to be really strange for me, which does beg a weird question, because I actually didn't think about asking this, but I'll ask you right off top of the bat. The Coyotes and the Ducks did have a heated rivalry.
They did.
Does some of that go away now with the venue change, with the locale change, with the new team name, or do you think it is pretty much the same?
So I think it's a little bit of both. I feel like there will still be some rivalry there, right? You take a look at some of the players, and the players have no I feel like some of the players, there's no love lost. Really. No. It's going to be a lot of the same. However, I feel like we're going to hear a little bit less of it with Utah and Anaheim versus Utah and the other geographic rivals now. Mainly because, again, different announcers we're expecting. Plus, I don't know who the TV announcers or radio announcers are going to be yet. And that has not been announced yet. But taking a look at that and saying, okay, I'm not afraid to say it. Tyson Nash, he was extremely vocal about that, about the rivalry between Arizona and Anaheim. A little too much. Wasn't the biggest fan of how much you opened it out.
You freaking think?
Oh, I know Jason has got some opinions on Tyson Nash.
I mean, can I say some of them? Am I allowed now? You know what? Okay, I will just give like honest opinion on that. The fact that it was almost like he was celebrating that players were getting hurt, in particular Trevor Zegras. That's not cool. Like you can say some things to wish ill repute on a different player, to wish someone gets hurt and say they had it coming, that is definitely not okay in my book. I never hope for anyone to get injured. I never hope for anyone to get run like that. And I especially never hope for a rivalry to kind of boil over in a negative way, like what happened with Zegras and what happened later with Troy Terry.
Yeah.
I never like seeing that materialize in that sense.
See, if that we're talking about that, because we're talking about people, former players who still subscribe to old style hockey. Right? We're past that. We're past the, that era of out and bullying and out and enforcers. The enforcer era is gone. It's now you
For the most part.
You still have physical players? Absolutely. Take a look at freaking Liam O'Brien, Spicy Tuna on the Utah Hockey Club. He's not an enforcer. He's a grinder. He's a guy. He's willing to use his body. And I feel like that's kind of what we're seeing now. We're seeing a little more of that. And again, not to say the enforcer doesn't exist anymore. There's a lot
because
of
there's a new kid on the block by the name of Matt Rempa from the New York Rangers who is probably going to be the last of the enforcers. Yeah. Not the movie Goon 2.
Old style enforcers.
Because there definitely is a new style enforcer, that name you mentioned. And I'll throw a name out from the Ducks that I know you're familiar with, Radko Gudas.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's another new kid on the block, but it's definitely a new style enforcer, but not so much enforcer, someone that likes to bruise a little bit for the sake of taking the puck and doing it on himself. Stian Solberg, who I was super excited the Ducks took in that draft. He is kind of that new style of enforcer, someone that is not going to just fight someone just for the heck of it. No, someone that's going to, have an active stick. Someone that's going to try to take over a game on defense. Someone that's going to be a play killer. That's a great new style of it.
Look, Jason, there's a massive reason. A lot of people are asking, what is Bill Armstrong doing drafting these big 6'3", 210-pound dudes? Like, what is he taking a basketball team? That's what some people ask. Like, no, like he's doing something, and I like what he's doing because he's going for that physical style of hockey. But these guys know, but also have the highest skill level. So these are the kind of players, Jason, that is going to go ahead and use their body to loosen the puck away from the opposition, as in the quote new style enforcer way in some cases, but also use their skill on the other end to make plays and get goals.
Which is what you need. You need someone with that kind of skill and size in general anyway. Radko Gudas is a brilliant example of that. Someone that has skill, someone that's going to get you possibly double-digit goals on a really good year. But I think Solberg is going to be that person that's going to he's going to become that guy.
I got a low warning for you of it. This is not a forward, so say enforcer wouldn't be the correct term to use it. But we got a guy coming into Utah Hockey Club, not this next season, but the very next, but could be the next season after that, in Dmitry Simashev. If you've seen the dude on the ice, oh my God, be ready.
He's definitely got a mean streak. Okay, so of course I was at the draft, and I'm of course looking through some teams, and one of those teams I was looking at was Utah because it is still a rival team in a sense. Yeah. That being said, Utah is going to be a bruising team. I cannot wait to see him and Solberg kind of go at it in about 3-4 years. That's going to be fun to watch.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
All right, we're going to head into the first intermission, and we're going to talk about the World Junior Summer Showcase because both our teams have some players taking part in that summer showcase. Stay locked in, folks. Hey, and now a brief word from the Game Time app. And folks, I'm just going to admit it. I used Game Time for this last baseball game that I went to. Robyn, can I tell the folks where I went?
Yeah, go ahead.
I went to Angel Stadium. They played the Oakland Athletics. And Robyn actually looked this up. There were seats for $1, all in price $6. That's including taxes and fees. I got myself a club ticket. You know what that means? That means in-seat food service. And of course, you have the views from your seat. You have flash deals. You have zone deals. You have their best price guarantee. Sorry, their best price guarantee to help you get through the dog days of summer and watch the Angels for just a few bucks. Yes, the promo code is for $20 off, but you know what? You can go to the fancy seats for $20, and that's almost a free ticket, right? Or go to the fancy seats at Chase Field and actually check out a good team in the Diamondbacks. I'm just saying, folks. But get through the dog days of summer with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL. I can spell for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Welcome back to the crossover of Locked On Anaheim Ducks and Locked On Utah HC. Robyn Leano from the hot desert, the Sonoran Desert, which is having a bit of monsoon right now. But because of that monsoon that's a little bit east of me, it's not raining here, but it's humid as heck. I'm jealous. Yeah. I'm jealous.
Hey, it kept skipping over us for the last couple of weeks, and I kept getting like I was watching my old home in Tucson get hammered day by day, and I was missing it.
Fair enough. So shall I talk about the players on my side first that are going to play at the Summer Showcase?
Yeah, let's do that. Summer Showcase in, where is it? Michigan?
Michigan, yeah.
Michigan.
So I'm going to start with the player that's going to play in Team Canada, because this is someone that I'm very excited about, and that is the Ducks' number 3 overall pick, Beckett Seneca, who really showed up during the dev camp. Beckett Seneca is someone that I'm very excited to see play during the showcase. He's going to be one of the main playmakers of this Canada team that are just stacked with players, as you know. And we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, we will. We'll get to
that. But Seneca, I've mentioned this on the podcast a couple of times as far as just scouting reports, is super patient with the puck, is going to make the right play and not try to force too much. And I'm sure there's a couple of players that you're going to talk about in a second that could be the recipient of that. Could be, right?
Could probably. Oh, I mean, certainly. If you want me to go ahead and name just one, even
just one,
and yeah. One Tej Iginla.
Oh, that line. If Seneca and Iginla play together, that's going to be dirty. Ooh, that was the one I was trying to hold back on. But I am excited to see Tej Iginla on the same ice sheet as Beckett Seneca. They're both those are two of the most exciting players in this draft. Am I wrong?
Top 10 picks. They're top 10 picks. I mean, Seneca went number 3. I don't think he even knew he was going to go that high, but
I'm not going to say it, but you know, he did mouth something like,
Oh
yeah.
Very sweet moment.
Yes, sweet for TV.
Yeah.
And because of Beckett Seneca, I had to bleep myself, and also because of Steven Solberg, I had to bleep myself in a recent episode. So thanks, guys. Thanks for making me use that bleep button. Really appreciate it. All right. I'm going to go over the other players really fast, and I'm going to go with Sweden. The Ducks love picking their super Swedes. They still have a couple of Swedes in their lineup. You know the Ducks love their Swedes. I can go with Isaac Lundestrom. I could even go with, remember they had Ricard Raquel for a while.
Yeah.
Hampus Lindholm. I mean, the list goes on. But the Ducks do have a penchant for picking those super Swedes. And in this case, Lucas Pettersson, who went number 35. Now, this one is going to be a little bit tricky because Pettersson might wind up being a bottom pair or bottom 6 kind of guy. And I understand that. I do. Because Sweden is stacked with talent. Can I just share with you some of the roster on Team Sweden for this World Junior Summer Showcase? Because there's some pretty good names on here. There's Axel Hurtig. It's good. It's really good. Tom Willander, Axel Landon, Axel Hurtig, I mentioned, Kosadinsky. There's some good forwards on here. Felix Nilsson, Otto Sternberg. Otto could make a lot of noise for Team Sweden and is kind of one of my dark horse picks to possibly be the most outstanding player in this whole showcase. He's that good, the real deal. So am I picking Sweden? Not necessarily, but they are stacked and they are good. David Granberg is another name that I like. Linus Eriksson, and some guy named Victor Eklund. No relation, but they're stacked with talent. And then we go to USA. No, you're not going to join me on that, Robyn. I know probably not. I'll just say this: there's some good talent on that Team USA as well.
Right.
Austin Bernovic, who was named to the roster. So only 4 Ducks actually made the rosters. There were more that tried out, but Austin Bernovic made it. Carey Terrence. So this name I want to mention because Carey Terrence was one of the more surprising players in Ducks Dev Camp this year and was the massive recipient of having to be on a line with Cutter Gauthier during the development camp, during the scrimmage. Gauthier made him look good, but I think he kind of did that all on himself as well. So Team USA also looking fairly strong, I would say. Mm-hmm. Probably not as strong as Canada or Sweden, though, which I know there's someone else that you want to mention, right?
Hailing from Team Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, might as well, since we can get to that and mention that player. And the 24th overall pick for the Utah Hockey Club, and Cole Beaudin.
Mm-hmm. Who, by the way, had a pretty solid contingency out in the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was really cool to hear that, by the way. So I'm going to go Canada-Sweden as my 2 best teams in this summer showcase.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Canada is such a stacked team. And again, you take a look at the players we mentioned, right? From our respective teams as prospects, and taking a look at the rest, and it's a stacked team. Now, I do want to say this really quick, Jason, because there are a lot of new hockey fans joining in on the Utah Hockey Club podcast. Mm-hmm. What exactly does this summer showcase? Like, what are the ramifications of this tournament? Just want to let everyone know it's basically a tryout for the World Junior Championships.
Yep.
The bigger tournament come this winter that starts after Christmas and then goes through the new year. So the 2025 World Junior Under 20 World Junior Championship, one of the greatest junior tournaments you'll ever witness.
I would. It's right up there with the Memorial Cup. The Memorial Cup, obviously.
Memorial Cup is a whole different animal.
The whole different beast. And for those new hockey fans, I mean, I'm sure most are familiar, but for those new hockey fans, the Memorial Cup is the conclusion of the Canadian Hockey League, the Junior League, which consists of the WHL Western Hockey League, the Ontario Hockey League, and the Quebec League.
Maritime Junior Hockey League.
Yes, thank you for saying that. I almost said major. I was like, wait, no, it changed. Quebec Maritime, the QMJHL. So those three leagues combine their champion, and there's the host team,
which also
and
hosts it.
yep.
Which last year, for example, was it was in Saginaw, right? It was Saginaw.
Saginaw.
It was Saginaw, and then the finals ended up being the two OHL teams between Saginaw and London, which was a really good one.
Yep, that was a good one, by the way.
That was a fantastic one.
Not as good as the one 2 years ago, though, when Mason McTavish saved a goal on the goal line. But that was a fun one too. But anyway, we're digressing here. So this really is a de facto tryout for World Junior Championships. And you've got to think with some of the players that are on there, these are names that you are going to hear more about because not everyone on these teams have been drafted yet. In fact, some of these players could be top draft picks or high draft picks in 2025. One of those that I keep hearing pop up or keep seeing pop up is Malcolm Spence from the Erie Otters. Just a terrific forward from Mississauga. That's a name that I've constantly seen pop up as a possible like early first round pick from Team Canada. So there is that ramification as well.
Right.
But just to go over the Canada roster, if I may do that, there's some solid defensemen on this team. This Team Canada could be very much built on their defense. Carter Yakimchuk, who was selected by the Ottawa Senators, probably one of the best defensemen in this draft outside of Levchinov. And then you have Zane Parekh. I know that's a name that you were thinking of, Robyn, because I know. Okay, so Robyn, you did your previews for the draft, and I stopped by a couple of the episodes because I was trying to watch all the teams. And Zane Parekh, I know, was a name that you had talked about a little bit as a possible target for Utah Hockey Club. So, just like a couple hot seconds, like, how impressed were you with Zane Parekh's play in general, and how good is that kid?
He's fantastic. I don't know. It's really hard to explain. I like exactly, exact feelings for this kid. I mean, you take a look at what he's able to do offensively, but while able to keep that defensive skill set. He is extremely smart with the puck. He knows how to skate. Yeah. He really moves things around. And the reason why I thought Utah was going to take him, and I was like, oh yeah, because Utah needs a guy like that. They are significantly lacking in the defense department, so they need something like that. They ended up fixing that in a whole another scenario, but that's for
yes. But gosh, what I liked about his game was he's just got amazing vision.
Yes,
up and down the ice.
Absolutely.
This is someone that is going to have good transition play and look to make those cross ice pass, but also look to make that perfect pass from blue line to blue line where someone like, I don't know, maybe a Colbodan.
Yep.
Yeah, that could be fun. Or maybe just a transition pass to Tijiginla down the middle. That could be fun to watch as well.
Yep. To see, be curious to see how much they try to slot in Tijiginla as a center. That's one of the things that Tom and I have been talking about. That the focus is probably going to be on when again that goes back to Kelowna and the WHL eventually. Is they are going to put him at center specifically to train him as a true center.
Yeah, that's going to be really curious how they work that out. I mean, that's probably going to be one of the most interesting things for me to watch as far as watching Utah Hockey Club is how are they going to slot him in and how confident are they going to be to rely on him on the faceoff dot?
It's interesting given now we take a look at for Utah, and you look at that center depth, and again, it's something that Tom and I talked about, so the everydayers know exactly what I'm talking about. Is you take a look at Logan Cooley, center, Tisha Ginla, center, Cole Baudouin, center, Barrett Hayton, center. Like their center depth is getting better significantly.
It sounds familiar to Ducks fans, doesn't it? When you have a slew of talented centers up and down. And what winds up happening with the Ducks just over the years is eventually some of those centers will be converted to wings.
Which is easier to do. You can, a center can play wing much easier than a winger can play at center. And that's why they're significantly going to send Ginla back to juniors to train him that way and develop him that way. Make sure he's trained as a natural center.
Yeah, because that's what they had to do with Trevor Zegras, by the way, is about 4 or 5 years ago. Z was a natural winger well before the Ducks. I mean, he would play on wing for most of the first part of his collegiate career up in Boston. He wouldn't play center a whole lot, and there were even some growing pains where he wouldn't take any of those important faceoffs, and they would wind up having two centers on the same line. And this happened actually not in Anaheim, but it happened in San Diego. That's what it was. In San Diego, when they had that year where Zegras was down with the Gulls, and he was right there with Sam Carrick, they would be on the same line together because Carrick would be the one taking those faceoffs, especially in the defensive end. You need someone that is going to win those puck battles in the defensive end and gain control. So I'm really curious what they do with Tisha Ginla and see how he can adjust to that.
And I'm sure he's the good thing about it. And then this goes also the same thing of Cole Baudouin is the work ethic of these kind of players, right? And again, I will even say this is something that the everydayers know that Tom and I have talked about time and time again already about a Ginla is your hope. And you might be sitting a little bit just from dev camp and maybe some early glimpses. Maybe this might be a way to get a glimpse of that. And I'm going to use Tom's phrase here, but the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And saying that he's going to be a lot like his dad, right? His dad had a really good work ethic, and he worked hard and became a Hall of Fame NHLer.
Exactly. I realize that we're up against it, so this is going to be another supersized episode, folks.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to head to the second intermission right now, and we'll just wrap up this whole thing with a neat little bow on the other side. And now a brief word from FanDuel. And folks, it's a dog days of summer, right? There's not much sports going on, right, Robyn? No. I mean, there's baseball going on right now, and that's about it. But, Robyn, who do you have as your favorite on MLB right now?
Oh, I mean, there's been a lot of going back and forth on for me, but look, at the end of the day, I follow one team and one team only, and it's if they're good, I'm placing bets on them. If they're not, then
hey, they could allow home runs all they want. But FanDuel will let me keep the sports going in spite of all that whenever I want. All I got to do is open up the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, by the way, Robyn, FanDuel's hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long, if you're able to. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball and the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. And Robyn, what should they do?
Please gamble responsibly.
Exactly. Welcome back to the Locked On Anaheim Ducks, Locked On Utah Hockey Club crossover, joining Jason Hernandez and Robyn Leano. Yeah. So let's give some let's wrap this up neatly. We talked about two guys, Seneca playing on the right wing, Iginla playing center. I'm so hopeful that they play on the same line because I think that would be really cool to see that happen, wouldn't it?
Oh, that'd be really fun to watch.
Fun is one way to put it. Let's go with that. But just the rest of Team Canada's lineup. I mentioned Zane Perek. I didn't even mention Sam Dickinson's on this team. What the heck? What are we doing? Like, we're just stacking our defense for Team Canada? What the F?
That Canada blue line is just
It's disgusting. It's
lethal.
disgusting. Right? Oh, and then you have Caden Lindstrom. By the way, shout out to Locked On Blue Jackets. Awesome interview with Caden Lindstrom. Check that out. But Tej Iginla also on there. Jaeger Braden, the Pens pick, also just a high-end talent. And someone that could be a future Firebird, Berkeley Catton. So yeah, they're stacked. Am I excited? Yeah, I'm a little excited about this one, as I'm sure you are.
Hey, we're getting an opportunity to get some hockey back again, a little bit of hockey, junior hockey. I'm always down for it, especially when you get these young guys, because they're getting a chance to see the future of the National Hockey League coming on its way up, and it's one of my favorite times.
I mean, okay, especially for teams like ours that haven't seen any meaningful hockey in months now, right? We're starving for something good. Especially
hey, Utah's got a real good glimpse during the development scrimmage.
Yeah,
and they loved it.
I saw the crowds. Oh man, that's gonna be fun.
Selling out merch within an hour after opening doors or something like that. Like,
yeah, you have merch, by the way. So
I do have merch.
Yeah. But just to put a bow on this, I'm gonna go. Canada's the best team, but Sweden is right freaking there, right there.
So, who gets the gold?
Canada. I think at the end of the day, Canada has the best juniors this year.
Yes,
they are so stacked.
And here's the thing: keep in mind that these are still the ones that are still, like, quote, as we mentioned, trying out for the U20 tournament in December, January. There are players who already made that roster because they already look. Canada's already stacked as it is. Then you add the players who might be playing as well as they are for Canada.
Then I would expect nothing less than a gold medal.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be super good, and that's the way it is. You know, Canada's just always does well. U.S. is got its highs and lows. I love the U.S. sometimes. I also love their the World Junior. What's it? The junior team international chant. Which, if you don't know what it is, look it up. It's pretty fun.
Yep. And hey, one day they could go into the World Championships and have Radko Gudas, tussle with Matt Zuccarello in a World Championships. By the way, oh my god.
And the World Championship's a whole different game too, because we're talking
we're talking manly men there.
So not only that, we're talking also full-sized ice.
Yes. So we can look forward to all of that. Any final thoughts before we wrap up this crossover?
No, not really. One of the things I do want to mention, it's something that I just want to make a really brief mention. Some of my fans have probably already asked about it. Is let's just say Utah's got some Olympic hockey coming in the next decade, so be excited for that.
I believe that is 2034.
2034. Salt Lake City is the host of the 2034 Winter Olympics.
You can bet that I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on 2028 first. and the Olympics here in Southern California. Once I'm past that, then I'll look forward to Salt Lake City. But let my brain just say 2028 first.
That's fair.
All right. Yeah, no more thoughts from me. Are there ever thoughts in my? I'm kidding. Hey. I can be self-deprecating here. All right.
Sure.
That's gonna do it for this podcast. I'm gonna refrain from continuing. You could follow me on Twitter X at StimpyJD. It's in my head now. The show's Twitter X is at LO_Ducks. You could drop me an email at lockedonanaheimducks@gmail.com. And you can follow Locked On Anaheim Ducks and all the podcasts on the Locked On NHL Network on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, ad-free on Amazon, by the way. And make sure to hit that subscribe button right there or right there. There we go. Just click that subscribe button if you haven't already.
Awesome. And for our Locked On Utah Hockey Club listeners, you can find our podcast also wherever you get your podcast. We are on the app formerly known as Twitter, now called X, at LO_NHL Utah. I am personally at Robyn_Leano. It's Robyn with a Y _LEANO. And my co-host Tom Callahan is at Callahan on Air, so you can follow him as well. He does a lot of great job. He's been doing a fantastic job being my co-pilot for these last couple of months as we get ready for Utah Hockey Club's first ever season. But again, follow the Locked On UHC podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh yeah, I love it. Once again, thanks for doing this, and we're gonna do this again at some point. You already know we are.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yep. Well, that'll do it for this one. For Robyn and myself, I'm Jason Hernandez saying have a great rest of the weekend. Please remember to be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Ducks fly together. And Utah, get a mascot. I can end with a joke. You want to just close it out?